Hello there everybody, What Culture Wrestling's Adam Clery here, fresh from the biggest party of the summer, in a way, because I didn't have to stay up and watch it. I've just come in and caught up this morning, hence why I'm all smiley and not tired. Now I don't know if you've seen it all or not yet, so I'll try not ruin too many of the big results for you, but WWE's second biggest pay-per-view of the year in their own heads, we obviously all know it's the Royal Rumble. Looked like being dead exciting, didn't it? We had Seth Rollins defending, trying to reclaim his Universal title from Brock Lesnar. We had Kofi Kingston defending against Randy Orton. We had Goldberg and Trish Stratus, two bona fide Hall of Famers coming back for a match. We had the in-ring debut of The Fiend. It was all very exciting. But the thing is, I'm not here to talk to you about what did happen at SummerSlam. Wilborn and Jules have already done what went down. Go give that a watch. Miller will be along at some point with ups and downs. Definitely do give that a watch. But that's all about the things that happened, all the people that were there, all the things you did see. But when you start to look at it, the things that didn't happen and the people that weren't there and the stuff you didn't see was possibly even more interesting than the show itself. Interesting in a kind of way. Don't get me wrong, I'm not having a moan about it or anything. I think the show we got itself, SummerSlam 2019, was really quite good. It started really strongly, then it did dip a bit in the middle, but it built back up to a sensational main event. I think it's a really solid, bordering on great evening of professional wrestling, and crucially for WWE standards, wasn't even all that long. But just when you look at who they didn't use and all the matches you could have had and you didn't get, it starts to get a bit, just what are they doing? Now there is one specific thing about this relating to Matt Riddle and Goldberg that I will get to at the end, which we think you were maybe supposed to see, but then they decided not to show it, but then they've kind of let the news out about it themselves. Anyway, that's the most interesting thing, but we'll get to that at the end. I just want to run you through the card, but not the card that was the card, not the card on the night of the people who were on the card of people who weren't on the card, who really probably should have been on the card. Right, so first up, there was no Bobby Lashley. The guy's been relatively prominent on television lately, and he really needed something, didn't he, after that loss to Strowman, and he could so easily have been on this show, even on the pre-show, even a squash on the pre-show, to do just that. And they didn't use him, because they've given up on him again. Shinsuke Nakamura, the reigning Intercontinental Champion. And what does that say, by the way, about both the champion and the championship itself? That it cannot even get onto the pre-show of the second biggest show. Well, WWE thinks it's the second biggest show of the year. It's the Intercontinental title. It headlined a pay-per-view not even that long ago, and Shinsuke can't even get on the show despite holding it. And he tweeted out, "Where?" which I presume means, where am I? Where is the belt? Where is me? It doesn't quite work, that Shinsuke, but I see what you're getting at. Aleister Black. Right, this one does kind of make sense. You can sort of lump Sami Zayn in this one as well. Black's been on a tear, wants people to fight him, and he's been doing these fights and he's been winning, and this was apparently supposed to be on the SummerSlam card, but they moved it to the television taping to let it breathe a bit more, give it a bit more time to stop this show running over and over, but still, they've brought him up and they've given him this big push, and he's talking about the bar and sitting in smoky rooms, and he had an absolutely brilliant match with Cesaro at the last pay-per-view, and he's not here now. This is meant to be a bigger show. It's meant to be the next step up. If you're continuing this feud, you need to keep things going. And they didn't. They just left him to rot, I guess. Rey Mysterio, who has finally found a bit of purpose, hasn't he, on the main roster. These matches with Andrade have been absolutely excellent. He had a barnstormer on television the week just gone, and yet come SummerSlam, there's no Rey Mysterio. There's no room at this. Nate says a Rame at the end, like no room at the end, but with a Ray, no Rame at the end. Doesn't really work that, but he still wasn't on the show, and his presence was missed. He's good. People enjoy watching him. They could have done with a match with that kind of energy in it, and just nope. And by extension, Andrade, clearly one of the best performers they have at the minute. A man who was putting on great match after great match after great match. Dare I say it, Big Four pay-per-view caliber great matches. And yet here we are at a Big Four pay-per-view, and there is no match for him. Apparently, still the talk backstage is that they really like him. They see him as a main event wrestler, but he has to learn English first, which is so dumb. The Miz is literally, I'm going to put my paper down for this so I can gesticulate better. The Miz is literally in a storyline with somebody who was on the card at SummerSlam. Him and Ziggler have been back and forth on it. It's still going on. They feel like natural adversaries, and yet Ziggler was given his match against Goldberg, and The Miz just had to sit at home with his thumb up his arse, one presumes. Now, here's the thing, right? I really liked the Goldberg-Ziggler match. I thought the way he destroyed him was excellent. They kept it short. It was exactly what it needed to be. But Goldberg is Goldberg. He does not need the momentum coming out of the pay-per-view having got a win. They should have done something to make this about The Miz. Like, have him at ringside instead of Goldberg coming back 3 times to destroy him. Have The Miz do something instead, because you want this rub, this shine to get onto him, because Goldberg's Goldberg. And I know the Saudi Arabia thing was a bit of a mess, but forget about that. It's fine. Like, Goldberg can just come in and win and just leave again. That's just, it's not going to be on Raw, is he? He's not going to be facing Ziggler again at Clash of Champions. They just, like, you keep telling yourself, don't you? Braun's back. They're gonna do something with Braun now. They're gonna do something really good with Braun now. And they put him against Lashley, and he beat Lashley, and you thought, here we go. He's gonna build back up to a run. He might get back in the main event picture, and finally he might get that title on him after they totally missed the boat with doing him the first time. I've literally just seen a boat out of the corner of my eye. That's why I've said that. But no, not even on SummerSlam. No Braun at the end. No room for Braun at the end at SummerSlam. Nothing. You could have done anything with him. You could have had him do a bit, had him F5 a shark that is being F5 by Brock Lesnar. You could have had him punch a beach ball to death. Anything. Wasn't there? Hey, so here's one. Did on Last Minute Rumours, didn't I, that they were going to add Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander to the SummerSlam card because, well, A, what has been the point in this feud if it wasn't to build to some kind of a match at SummerSlam, and B, literally everywhere was reporting that they were going to add that match to SummerSlam, just off television at some point. In fact, I even said, I went to lengths to say, didn't I? No, hands up, I'm reporting this now, but by the time the video goes out, it probably will have already been announced. And then I thought I got really lucky because when the video did go out, it still hadn't been announced. And I was like, haha, I look really clever on that one. And then they just didn't announce it. It wasn't a thing. It was never happening. Uncle Dave got that one wrong, didn't he? And thus, so did I. So, thanks. Drew wasn't on the show, is my point. And yes, by extension, Cedric Alexander, who has been prominently featured on television. He's been in this whodunit storyline. He's been clearly feuding with Drew McIntyre. We thought so they could get a match out of it at SummerSlam. And nope, nothing for him. Nothing. Still doesn't, nope, nothing. Not really sure there's anybody who is as hot on television right now as Samoa Joe. Like, he's on the cusp, isn't he, of this really weird and unlikely face turn, and they've dragged him into the middle of this whodunit storyline, and his stuff leading up to this and the previous pay-per-view was absolutely excellent. His match was really good, and it's just how do you not then feature him at the bigger pay-per-view when you've got more room, more time, more space, more slots on the card to fill? How do you not use him? Like, he'll go on TV this week, won't he? He'll be on TV, and he'll be brilliant on TV. He'll probably cut the best promo, and he'll be the one you're talking about come the end of the week. And yet, when the pay-per-view came round, he just didn't exist. He was Joe Dinger's cat. I'm on one here. Daniel Bryan. Now, when we were initially reporting SummerSlam, the build-up to it a couple of weeks ago, it looked for all the world we thought that we were going to get Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. And we thought, hey, do you know what? That is an incredible match. We've seen it once before, I think, at Fastlane on the way to WrestleMania, where WWE were trying to just appease the fans who wanted Bryan in the main event and giving them Roman instead. And they had a match, and it was really good, but it was kind of just slightly tainted by the fact it was just a bit of a PR exercise to try and shut some people in the crowd up, and Bryan inevitably had to put Roman over, and we all knew that was going to be the result, but not this time. They could have done literally anything with it. It was the whodunit storyline. Anybody could have come out the victor there. But no Daniel Bryan on the show anyway. Their best wrestler, you would still argue, their best wrestler did not wrestle at SummerSlam for no other reason than just they don't know what they're doing with this forklift thing. WWE. And finally, by extension on all this Bryan stuff, there was still no Roman Reigns. We reported that he was going to get a match against Buddy Murphy, of all people, maybe even on the pre-show, but no, they couldn't find a slot for Roman Reigns. Imagine I'd sat you down 2 years ago, 18 months, 2 years ago, and said, come SummerSlam 2019, Roman Reigns will be fit, Roman Reigns will be healthy, Roman Reigns will be in a feud with another top star. All the television time is going towards it, but they just won't use him at SummerSlam for no other reason than they just don't seem to have left enough time to work the storyline together. Imagine I told you that. You would have slapped me in the mouth, you would have kicked me in the dick, and you would have gone, that man there is talking bollocks. But my favourite bit about all this, of course, is that we did hear that he was going to get added to the show somewhere against Buddy Murphy, and Buddy Murphy got a match. He got to wrestle Apollo Crews for 5 minutes. He got on the card, but no Roman. So yes, all of that is quite weird. I'm going to step back in the middle here because it's about me now, but that is all quite weird. But one thing that we did predict on Last Minute Rumours, well, I say predict, obviously, we just report it. It's not a prediction on my part. Stop trying to imply it's a prediction on my part. One thing we did report on was that there was going to be some kind of altercation in some capacity between Matt Riddle and Goldberg. If you've not really been following this, they had a bit of a Twitter spat. Might have been a bit of a work, but we don't really know. They had some Twitter patter over the Saudi Arabia show. Matt Riddle kept laughing at how bad Goldberg was. What a knee bar, bro. And this led to a bit of a to and fro, and there was all this tension and whatnot. And we thought, maybe, could this be leading to a match? Is this how they would bring Matt Riddle onto the main roster in a feud with Goldberg? I mean, almost certainly, definitely not. But it did start to show all the hallmarks of an angle. But then, as we reported on Last Minute Rumours, Matt Riddle was going to be on Watch Along that night, which is not WWE's attempt to rip off YouTubers who live stream their shows. Absolutely not. Of course it isn't. Why would you even think such a thing? So we knew he was going to be in the arena the night of the show. He might even be commentating on Goldberg's match. And that just got you thinking, didn't it? What if they do it? By the sounds of it, they actually did do this. Riddle tells a story during Watch Along of him meeting Goldberg for, we presume, one of the first times backstage at the show, and apparently it was filmed. So clearly it was meant to go out during the night, you would suspect, or on television sometime later, but they cut it from the broadcast. For whatever reason, they decided not to broadcast it, which is, I mean, fair enough, you might get cold feet over these things, but they did release the clip of Riddle talking about it on their YouTube channel with the headline something like, Matt Riddle talks about his awkward confrontation with Goldberg. So they are still trying to just sow the seeds and pull a couple of strings there, but just didn't feel quite... Anyway, I'll tell you what he said. He goes, we got some talking to do. Please excuse my Matt Riddle impression. And I'm like, well, we can talk anytime, bro. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, all right, bro, anytime. And he's like, I'm not your bro. And I'm like, all right, bro, take it easy, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, we'll see. I'll see you later. And hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. And I go, the pleasure was all mine, bro. And he goes, I'm not your bro. And then I walked away. I had to come here. That really does take it out of you when you've not got a massive bifter. Anyway, they did clearly choose to film this and then made the decision to not show it to you. Now, it would have been one of the most interesting things coming out of SummerSlam. Oh my God, are they actually teasing Matt Riddle versus Goldberg? And they're clearly happy to keep teasing that they're teasing it with a YouTube video and releasing all this information themselves and, well, filming it full stop. But to not show you it, to deny you all of these many superstars and then deny you this lovely to and fro between Matt Riddle and Goldberg, they've got too many toys in that box and they need to share them. So, yeah, that's a bit of, I'm going to come back in the middle, that's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? They could have genuinely done a really solid B-level pay-per-view with all the names of people who didn't even feature on the show, then they could have shoehorned in this amazing promo and we would have gone home being like, wow, what a thoroughly entertaining night of wrestling. The show they didn't do was almost as good as the show they did do. Anyway, as I say, not having a moan, SummerSlam was absolutely brilliant. Go watch it if you haven't already. I haven't even spoiled any of the big matches for you because I'm a legend. Anyway, let us know what you make of all this. What is it? This is the problem WWE have with having too much money, I guess. Let us know what you make of that in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can catch me on Twitter at Adam Clery. You can catch us all on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I've been Adam Clery and still am. Goodbye. Bro.